Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is just wanted you to know. Like and subscribe to my channel. I'd appreciate it, and hopefully you guys watch this at some point. Today I wanted to talk about a magazine that I just got in the mail. This is a copy of the newest Foreign Affairs. It says the world is flat on front of it. And I'm just going to talk about one article in here. This has to do with climate change. Now, we've all heard a lot about climate change and how it's going to destroy us all. We're going to have 20-foot seas. New York City's going to disappear. Massive wildfires. The whole world's just going to go to hell. Hasn't happened. Probably hasn't happened because all their models are wrong and they can't make one that's correct. Has something to do with not including the sun. Could have something to do with climate. Just saying. Yeah, so anyway, this article is called The Next Front on Climate Change, How to Avoid a Dimmer, Drier World. So basically what these authors are saying is that it's not enough that we have all this phony climate change garbage going around, that we're all supposed to wear our guilt all over ourselves and pay massive reparations to whichever country decides that they're most affected by these global climate changes that we have supposedly caused. That's not enough. Now we need to look at aerosols, because aerosols are going to make everything dimmer and drier. Now, if you look at Northern California and Southern California, and you wonder why they're in a drought, there have been multiple sightings for at least a decade of airplanes spraying something that won't fall out of the sky. Now, these are aerosols. They've been spraying aerosols for at least 10 years and probably for closer to 40. I wouldn't put it past them. But anyway, we've ended up with a huge drought in several locations, and I'll bet you that we can blame all this crap that our governments are all spraying around up there. So, I wanted to read the dimmer and drier. The first paragraph, it says, climate scientists have known about the dimming effect of aerosols since at least the 1970s. It's about 46 years ago. But most research is focused on their effects on temperature. Darker aerosols, such as diesel soot and other kinds of black carbon, absorb sunlight and accelerate warming, but lighter aerosols, such as the sulfates and nitrates, formed from coal, gasoline, and other fuel emissions, cool the planet by reflecting sunlight back into space. So again, it's humankind's fault. We're causing droughts. We're making the world dimmer. Now they can take into account the sun. It has nothing to do with our temperatures or our climate, but it does have something to do with something, since they're mentioning that sunlight's not reaching the earth like it should. That explains in part why the world hasn't seen more of a temperature increase from the greenhouse gases already present in the atmosphere. This masking effect is powerful enough that some advocates of geoengineering have proposed injecting more reflective aerosol particles into the atmosphere in order to cool the earth. Now, I wonder why they even put that in there. I have no idea. Maybe because they've already been doing it for 20 years? I might be onto something. A lot of us might be onto something. Now, it goes into a bunch of different countries in here about how they can fix all their stuff and what needs to be done. Basically, it says we can't produce power from coal. We have to all switch to natural gas. If we use coal, then we have to have scrubbers. Well, the United States already has scrubbers, and they're still getting shut down. Maybe it's because we're not doing carbon sequestration. Yeah, that's, I don't know, billions of dollars of wasted money. Completely out the window. So, at the end of this, they say that we all need to act fast and we need to do this immediately. So, we're on track to, along with China, Japan, the United States, and the members of the European Union, we're all on track to raise around $100 billion a year by 2020. And that's the reparations to countries that have been supposedly affected by it. Now, their entire model's wrong. They have the whole thing backwards. Temperature drives the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere, not vice versa. Again, they don't take the sun into account. That magazine, I'll show it to you again. This magazine happens to be written basically for and by the Council on Foreign Relations. There's actually advertisements in there so that you can get scholarships and whatnot from the Council on Foreign Relations. This is a totally globalist publication stating what their intent is for the rest of us. They want nothing more than to see a one world government, and the only way to get a one world government is to be able to fund a one world government. That would mean that everybody in the whole world has to pay taxes to the same place. It's not something that I want. I think my government's unresponsive enough now. Imagine if it was on a global level, especially since there's no real election process and all that stuff, but that's a different day. So, I just want you guys to be aware that stuff like this is out there, and it sounds far-fetched today. 2 years from now, when we have the EPA coming through and saying that we have to do all this, then at least you'll have had an idea about it existing in the first place, I guess. Another real good idea would be to start calling your legislatures at the federal government up and saying, we want answers to this kind of stuff and we want to know what's going on. Either take action or, just watch your whole life end. I hope you like. I hope you subscribe. See you tomorrow.